Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here this morning. I want to make assignments for our next managed enrollment session and want your input on what you will be teaching. I have taken a look at the CARES data and will share that data with you to help us determine what classes we should offer. I feel very fortunate that I have 3 instructors who will teach both reading and math. As you know, we will be meeting 2 nights a week for 3 hours. So, we can devote an hour and a half to reading, and an hour and a half to math. We probably will put math in the first time slot, unless anyone feels differently. This session will last for 6 weeks. Well, let's get started. Sally, you have indicated a preference for teaching our lower level students. So, you will receive the folders of those students who have taken the TABE E or TABE M with a grade equivalency score of 4.0 to 5.9, low intermediate, ABE. As you know, students with scores lower than 4.0 on the TABE are referred to as special reading class. Brian, I have assigned you our mid-level students this session. They are the ones scoring 6.0 to 8.9 on the TABE M or TABE D. They are the high, intermediate, ABE students. There are 25 students who reach that level in math. I have a plan for how to reduce that number for you, which I will tell you in just a minute. Jennifer, you will take over the GED level students. Those students who have scored 9.0 or above on the TABE D or TABE A. How does that sound to everyone? Okay, let's take a look at those mid-level math students. Sally and Brian, as you can see from the TABE scores, and from the CARES data, there are only 2 or 3 students working at that lower level in math. However, there are 25 students that the CARES data show are working at the mid-level. What I would like to do is take 8 to 10 of those students and assign them to you, Sally. That will leave Brian with 15 to 17 students. I know it means you will have to do some strategic planning to keep both groups going, Sally, but I wouldn't ask you to do it if I didn't think you could. What do you say?
I think I can manage it. I sure don't want Brian to have 25 students, if we can help it. I am willing to give it a try. When I look at the college and career readiness anchor standards, it looks like I will be working mostly from level C with my reading students, and the 2 or 3 students who scored at the lower level in math. Is that correct?
That seems correct to me, Sally. I will be looking at the standards in level D.
Oh. I think we need to look at those levels.
Why, Brian? Do you see a problem?
Well, let's look at the CCRS. According to our grade equivalency levels, if Jennifer is going to be working with GED students, it seems she should be using the standards in level E, and I should be working from the standards in level D, in ELA. I will need to look at level C in math, as well as level D. In math, level C covers skills in grades 4 and 5, and some skills of grade 6, while level D covers some skills that can be considered in grade 6, and those in grade 7 and 8. Sally will be starting with level C. What do you all think of that?
I think you are right, Brian. Those are the levels where everyone should start, but we shouldn't forget that the standards are progressive. That means that you may have to go down a level, or perhaps up a level, to meet the needs of some individual students in your class.
Yes, the progression of skills is an important consideration, even though it means you may have to differentiate your lesson plan to include instruction for individual students. If we think about the shifts in instruction that are necessary with the adoption of the standards, each of us needs to be building on skills from the previous diagnostic level and preparing students for the next diagnostic level. There are 10 anchor standards for reading. How do I determine where to start? Am I going to be responsible for teaching all of them and all their level-specific standards in this session?
Remember that we have a means of identifying elite standards as a way to help you determine what to teach. The standards in action Lead standards templates are available at the KYAE site. The anchor standards for ELA are already filled in, you merely have to decide which are lead standards. When you review your students' TABE reports, and compare them to the CCR anchor standards, you will have a starting place for your instruction. You will have to determine which of the anchor standards best meets the needs of your students, as shown by their TABE diagnostic. You may share students with Brian, or possibly even Jennifer. You may have a student who took the TABE M for reading, but the TABE D for math. That student will be in your class for reading, but in Brian's class for math. If the majority of your students only score 25% on words in context, you might want to look at Reading Anchor Standard 4 in the C level, which has to do with determining the meaning of words and phrases as they are used in a text. Is there another standard you think you might include here?
Let's see. I might be able to include a writing or a language standard. It looks as if I could use the Language Anchor Standard 4. It refers to context clues and word parts.
Great, Sally. That is exactly what you should do. Then, you should determine which standards, based on the TABE diagnostic report, you will have time to teach in this instructional session. You will create your unit plan, and then you will create your lesson plans.
I think we need to consider the 2014 GED test performance level descriptors, also. They will help us understand what skills students need to move to the next performance level. They are available for all the content areas.
That is a good idea, Jennifer. If you don't have a copy of the performance level descriptors, you can find them on the GED testing service website. Here is the URL, if you want it. Once you have chosen your standards, you will need to unpack them.
I would like to meet with Sally and Jennifer. Since I will be teaching the middle level, it might be nice for me to know what skills Sally's students will be bringing to me. Jennifer might like to know what skills to expect from my students when they come to her. The progression of skills should help ensure that our students are prepared at each diagnostic learning level and will be ready for the college and career challenge.
Great idea. Let's meet tomorrow morning.